You may have heard stories about Rosie the Riveter or heard stories about the roles women played during World War II, but what many people don't know is that some ladies joined the fight just like the men. Melissa Bell gives us a look at what basic training was like for the women of World War II.
Thanks, Nate. You know, when we think about World War II, we're used to reading about it in books or movies. Well, here at the National Infantry Museum, a local acting company has brought the women of World War II to life.
Forward! Huh.
Company Street was alive at the National Infantry Museum as actors in period costumes showed onlookers what it was like to be a woman in 1940s basic training.
These are actually female recruits. They would have been entering into the WAC program, which was a Women's Auxiliary Corps. It was a program started during World War II where females were allowed to come into the military, and they were mostly used stateside. However, some did see service around the world. And they came in and took over some of the jobs to free up some of the soldiers so that they could go overseas and fight in a combat environment.
In this corps, women became more than housewives as they hung up their aprons and headed to help, showing everyone what they were capable of.
The women during the Second World War stepped out of the household and became career women, that they were as good as men at doing functions, and they were as dedicated and as patriotic as the men were. And it was important for them to make these sacrifices as well.
On Company Street, the original buildings preserved from the Second World War offered a sense of authenticity as onlookers watched demonstrations of basic skills that World War II women learned, like drills, marching, and even pitching tents as they geared up for military life.
You had women in the factories. Rosie the Riveter is one of the most famous icons that's come out of World War II as far as the female aspect and participation. But then you also have the women that were in the military, and a lot of people don't realize that they played a key aspect because they were able to kind of free up some of the jobs that the men had filled here on military bases stateside, so that those men could go and participate in the conflict as far as combat.
Filling roles like the WASP program, women flew planes from factories to as far as the Philippines. They built ships and became nurses, and all while taking care of the home. But for these wartime women, it was all in a day's work, and it started with basic. To view Company Street, contact the National Infantry Museum to take the tour. Melissa Bell, Fort Benning TV.